Hi, it's summertime. Summertime is coming, the sun is shining, and it is beginning to look like I need to wear sunglasses outside. This is my sunglass case. It's not cute, it's not the vibe. For example, when I pull it out of this, ew, it's not the vibe. So let's make it the vibe and sew a sunglass case. Let's do it together. This is a tutorial. Let's go. For the fabric, this is so gorgeous. I have had this for ages, but I haven't really known what to make with it. But yeah, this is drop dead gorgeous. I should probably make a tote bag out of this. 100% definitely yes. But it will also be a sunglass case, yes. And the lining inside will be this really pretty powder pink. It's pretty pale on camera, just like me. Let's go. What you need is a pencil, a ruler, and in my case I will be using this sunglass case as a guide. I can see that it fits on my A4 paper, so I'm going to just leave it there. First I will make a seam allowance here and here at the bottom. So I'll do 1 centimeter. Like that. Then I'll just lay this down, draw a line right there, approximately 18 centimeters. So I'm just going to measure that and again make a line. And then I'll add a seam allowance here of 1 centimeter. Then I'm going to measure the thickest part of this, and that is 9 centimeters. So that means the width or the height of the case will be 9 centimeters. I'm just going to then double it because we are going to flip it over itself. At 9 centimeters here on both sides, do a line, and then again at 9 centimeters. So this will be the back and the front piece, and now I want the flap part to be a triangle. So I'm just going to add about 2 centimeters on each side for a little, to like cover the gap. Now to find the middle part here, or the center, I am just quickly going to cut off this part right here because it won't be a part of the pattern. And then I'll fold this in half. And then when I open it, I now have the middle part. I want the triangle part to be in total 8 centimeters. I'll do another 6 on top of this. And now just draw a line from this center piece here till that corner. For the last part, we'll add a seam allowance here and here, 1 centimeter. And then cut the excess off. And there you go. There you have your own pattern. If you don't have a case to guide yourself with, or you don't want to use my measurements here, what you also can do is to just measure the sunglasses you want to put in your case. So just this one is about like approximately 15 centimeters. Considering my measurement for this one is 18, I think it's okay for you to add about 1.5 centimeter on each side, so in total 3 centimeters extra to get the width of your sunglasses, depending on, like if yours is maybe 16, 17, just add 3 centimeters, and then I think you should be good. And for the width, or like this way, it is about 5 or 6 centimeters. And yeah, if we say 6, then again, if you add 3 centimeters, so 1.5 on each side, you get 9, which was my measurement here. So I'd say add 3 centimeters on your length and height, and there you have your pattern. this sunglass case will be held together sort of with magnets. So before we sew these two together, we will add pockets so that we can put the magnets in afterwards. So I've folded the pattern. This is the seam allowance, and then this is approximately how it will look. This is also a seam allowance, so right here is where we are going to put the first magnet. So that means it will be approximately there. I'm just going to trace around on this fabric to not have it be too big. And then I'm just going to cut it a bit more exactly. Like that, and then just do with the other. Then just place it like a diamond shape around here. This will leave space for the seam allowance, and pin it down. I will sew it like a square around, but I won't sew this part right here because I am going to put the magnet in after I've sewn this, because my sewing machine is also a little magnetic, so I won't be able to sew it, but just sew around like that, and then put the magnet in afterwards, and then sew close this by hand. Now for the bottom part, let's just go back to our pattern, and then we'll see, because our magnet will now, this one will be here, so the next one will have to be under here. So just lay your pattern on top of this, and then just lift up here and trace it. Like that, and then you put this one over it and pin it down. Not sew this with the machine, put in the magnet afterwards, and then close this by hand, because then it'll look something like this. I know I said to sew square around, but I found it to be easier to just sort of trace the circle part. The closer the stitch will be, or like the seam will be to the magnet, the less it will shift around. So my second try was a bit better. Before we put the magnets in and sew it close, we are going to sew this part right now. Sew these two together. So this side will be the inside, and then this is the outer side. So we're going to put those together, right sides together. Then I'm going to use these. You can also use needles, but I prefer using these for this part. Just clip them around, and then we're going to sew from here all the way around till here, so we won't sew there, so that we can wring it inside out. And also, yeah, you can just draw with a pencil around here. Make sure you can fit your whole hand through it, because we are going to have our hand underneath this part to sew this here. So yeah, something like that. Before we now sew the magnets in, we are just going to cut all the corners, so that when we fold it right side out, the corners will be as pointy as possible. I've now flipped it so that it is the right sides out, and I'm just going to, I will show you exactly what I mean, but do remember to not sew right here. This should be open. As you can see, now that we've sewn this here, it's flat. Now let's flip it out again, and then we'll sew the magnets in. to make sure that both of the magnets are facing the correct way. I'm just going to flip it inside out once more and then just fold it and see. Okay, so this needs to face that way. This side will meet that, so just sort of flip it and then you know it's going to be inside there. And again, now just sew by hand right here. Now we're almost done. We just need to fold this part right here and then clip them just like we did with the sides here, like that, and then just sew this stitch over here. It was a little wobbly here, but that's okay. So the very last thing to do now is just to fold it and then just make sure that the magnets are connected. And then you just clip the sides. And then sew one straight stitch here and then one there, and then you're done. That's how you make a sunglass case. A really gorgeous one, might I add. Slay. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please leave a like. Comment down below if there is something else you would like me to make a tutorial on. Or if you have any good criticism, I'll take it. You know. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.